Oh,
Oh, what?
NERDSoul.
Yeah, late ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down. Bring that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, coming with another wonderful episode of That Is Right, the one, the only thumbnails. We are chilling, kicking it. We got a guest coming up, and we're going to be talking about, of course, Young Justice in general and Young Justice season 3, just because I missed Young Justice. It's been a while. I'm ready for the new stuff. The show has been well done. So to my right or left, depending on if it flips the video, because I can't remember, it's probably over here, because I think I flipped it the other way last time. So cinematic sorcerer, back in the deck productions master, Solar Grey.
hello. What is going on? You did a little bit of summoning on me on that one. I appreciate that. How you doing, man?
Not bad. Just chilling, taking it easy, doing a relaxed vibe. Just ready to talk about some good old Young Justice.
Yeah, talking about the YJ, as we like to say. Yeah, I can tell you, man. That is, man. You're like sitting up, going, "Yo, so what's your thoughts on Young Justice?" And I'm like, "Really, bruh? Really?" Really, we don't have that conversation.
I guess I'll start off. I'll ask you, how did you get into Young Justice? Like, did you know about it before the season started, or is it something that you kind of like caught on to late?
Oh, bro, I've been there since the beginning.
Okay.
The beginning, since the start of it.
I was all right.
Yeah, because I'm stupid on every single DC animated property. Like that is my jam.
Okay.
Animated stuff, that is all my jam. Just
Nice.
my stuff. I'm all on it. All I'm like that's there. So when Young Justice came out, I was just like, bruh, let me check this thing out, because yeah, I checked out the show and it was a lot more adult than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right. Let's see. I'm looking at you. I'm looking. And yeah, I was floored. I was straight up floored.
I was definitely impressed. I remember they did kind of like the hour premiere or the movie premiere of the series on Cartoon Network. And I remember being like, all right, cool, we got a new DC show called Young Justice. So let's, because we had Teen Titans before, that was gone. And I was like, okay, cool. So Young Justice, let's see what it's like. The character designs look cool. I think Phil Barassa, I believe, did the character designs for all of the seasons. But
right.
I was like, cool, the characters look cool. Let's see how the show goes. And I was like, yes. It was just like, everybody was fun to watch. And even though they were really on the young end, they didn't shy away from more mature themes, like dealing with depression or death or dealing with betrayal. So even though they were kids, they didn't treat them like kids. And I know that sounds weird.
Say on the young end, what do you mean on that?
Robin, the way he acted, him not being ready to be a leader, really, kind of like giggling and kind of playing things for a joke a lot, and him having to learn, this is your team. Like you can't play around anymore. Like it's like you, Flash, and Superboy. Like you've got to step up. Like you can't just play around and like hack things and just make jokes like I'm whelmed and stuff. Like you gotta you have to step it up. And him learning that through the season was like really cool for me. Just kind of like, all right, well, I guess I have to let some of this stuff go, and I'm responsible for a lot, and I have to make plans, and do I want to do this like Batman does? And so I like how they grappled with that and dealt with it. I thought it was, just dope in general.
Okay. All right. I'm definitely with that. It was super interesting for me. Because I was coming off of Young Justice myself, and not Young Justice. I was coming off Teen Titans.
Oh yeah.
And the big thing on that, like the really big, huge thingamabobber, on that for me was it was very much a tween show, you know.
Okay.
Because I mean, you know, from the music to the cute little what's the term, the chibi anime expressions with the teeth, funny faces and stuff. And occasionally, just occasionally, it tried to get raw, you know. Just occasionally it was like, okay, yes, Slade is here, I see you, Slade, I see you.
Terra and stuff, and they kind of did the Judas Contract.
How can I put it? I got words on that. But all in all, it was a good show. It was a fun show, and I had fun with the show. And then came Young Justice. And then I'm like, okay, just the way that the show opened up with the whole, it's the day. Today is the day. And from the first episode on, when they were like, this is what the deal is gonna be. And in truth, and the truth of all of it, it was like setting up these kids to think that they were finally gonna join the Justice League, and then they were given a glorified treehouse. And I gotta say, like, Roy Harper has never been one of my big dudes. Never been one of my big dudes.
But he shined in this.
Oh my God. It was, cause I ain't gonna lie, I was there with him. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, cause I was like, oh snap, this is gonna be sweet.
Yeah. But then I'm just sitting up going, no, Roy's right. Like, Roy is absolutely right on this. This is not some jazz that you should be this ain't the jazz that you should be doing. This is literally he's like, nah, y'all misled me and I ain't with that. So I quit.
It is about time for you guys to give us our respect for the time that we've put in, like people give, like the respect people give you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That is exactly it. And the way that all that stuff goes, ooh, now I'm digging this. All right, cool. Hang on. Give me just a minute here, and boom. Oh, I'm loving this. You're gonna love this when I give you the footage. You are. Cool. You're gonna love the footage. But yeah, so I'm sitting up and I'm looking at this whole thing. I'm really looking at it, and I'm like, all right, well, let's see what they're gonna do. And it came out at an odd time for me because I was talking about this with my girl just this morning. There came a time where I was at peak critical Batman. This peak critical Batman. And this was before Metal. This was what? 4 years ago? So I was kind of, it was like in the middle of the Court of Owls thing. So I'm like, all right, I'm kind of getting peak Batman. I'm not really feeling this. And then Batman takes over the team and he's like, I'm being a jerk because I'm Batman. And then, but all in all, it was nice to see Robin let me take this all the way back. I'm an old fan of the Titans. And I mean like old fan of the Titans.
Oh, okay.
Talking the
like
original.
The Wolfman stuff and all that.
Yeah, the Fab Five, man. And one of the things that I found myself loving, and I mean just loving, was of course the relationships. That was the biggest thing, because the Titans are to DC what the X-Men are to Marvel. They're a bunch of teenagers who are friends with each other. And that was important to me. That was really, really important to me, because hang on just a minute. So when I'm looking at these teenagers actually being friends, the banter between Robin and Wally, the friendship that they had, the serious, hardcore, like They're swapping stuff back and forth. Wally is
Yeah.
kind of a clown. And
like Robin kind of like feeds into it.
yeah, exactly. And coming off of Teen Titans, where Robin was the serious one, I was trained by the best. So you go from I was trained by the best, you may as well be saying I'm Batman, to why is no one ever whelmed? They're like underwhelmed. Something is underwhelming or overwhelming. Why isn't something just whelmed? I don't know.
Yeah.
And the personalities of the characters are really, really what pushed that show over the top for me. I mean, who'd have thunk that Aqua anything would get a fan base?
Yeah.
And Kaldor was the man.
Definitely. And he shined, and even, in seeing that season, him kind of like taking over essentially because Robin, in his core, Robin didn't want it.
Yeah.
And so like Kaldor kind of took over because Robin didn't want it. Maybe, he didn't feel it was worthy or whatever it was, but he didn't want it.
Right.
And then you have, the Kaldor in season 2, getting more into like the Black Ops stuff, secrets, things of that nature. And then even in the season 3 where those, kind of secrets continue to kind of break them and everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really big thing where you're looking at these teenagers become adults with each other, and they're making mistakes, and they're paying for those mistakes.
Yes.
And that's...
And you're seeing them sort of without the training wheels of their, mentors.
Yeah.
Because, the story sets it up really well where, Vandal Savage or like Lex or someone always has something going on,
right,
where they're off world. So they do a good job of that. And even the part where they set up, when they did the mind control and set them up to, attack, that was cool because then you have a weird situation that we don't see a lot in the animation or the live action, is where our heroes are put on trial.
Yeah.
Now it was on another planet, but I mean they were still put on trial. And
I mean, you see that a lot in superhero cartoons. You saw it with the X-Men with the Trial of Phoenix that they did back in the 90s. You saw it with the Trial of the Green Lantern on the Justice League season 2.
Mm-hmm. But even that's kind of a while back.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, you get to see it in a lot of different places. That's all I'm saying. Like,
and it was them having to kind of like grow up and unfortunately make a lot of the similar mistakes. Like for instance, in season 3, the whole like we're gonna work like the light does, and to a certain degree, it worked. I mean, it did work in the long run, but then look at the kind of fracturing that happened. Now they were able to work things out. And made Black Lightning the leader of the Justice League, essentially, or at least the moral leader of the Justice League.
Jefferson.
But Jefferson Pierce, man.
Now we're just waiting for Wayne Brady to show up on the show.
But it was nice to see them grapple with, okay, what we're doing is not working.
Yeah.
But what can we do? Because what we're doing is the right thing. But Lex Luthor he's winning. He's out there. He's got people's minds all twisted. He got them, hating us.
Yeah.
And it's like, so, it's like we can't win by doing right. So there are arguments and points to be made on Jefferson's side and on Batman's side. Because Batman's like, yo, look, this guy Lex is a danger. We can't beat him doing the Superman thing. We tried the Superman thing for 2 seasons. Not working.
Well, see, here's the thing that got me. Okay, I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention to the adventure side of the story. Okay. I think where this show really shines are the relationships between the characters. Mm-hmm. We talked a little bit about the friendship between Wally and Dick.
Yeah.
And that was something that reflected for a long time. But let's talk about the relationship between Connor and Clark. Like, we got to see a side of Superman that was like...
And the evolution of that.
Yeah. Because the idea that something makes Superman uncomfortable. You know, just like... Oh,
and I mean, it's kind of the right thing to make him uncomfortable, but, you know, because essentially he's been violated. His DNA has been taken and he has been cloned.
And this then was pre-Damien, so when it came to like, it's time for you to be a father or a big brother, he didn't have any references, you know?
Yeah, and then his clone, the other half of the clone, is of course Lex Luthor, of all people. So he goes from being sort of, like in season 1, sort of weirded out / I don't even know what to say to you.
Yeah, like no subtext there.
not really being mean to him, because I think Superman understood, like, it ain't your fault. You was cloned.
You just
woke up and you were here. But you know, he was like, I really don't even know what to do with you. I don't even know if I can trust you. So I'm gonna just keep my distance. Yeah. And then through seeing his heroics, seeing the kind of like the back and forth that Connor had, then you see season 2 a little warmer / sort of relationship into where they're calling each other brothers in season 3, which is cool. Even though, you know, when you think about it, it's like weird, because imagine waking up tomorrow and you see somebody who looks like you, but about 15 years younger, and you're like, what?
I'll be on the phone with my exes, considering I am in my 40s. I was like, hold up, I've been with my girl for 9 years, but where was I before that? Oh, hold up. Hey. Is this something
like, you know, looks just like you, kind of like moves and has similar, you know, strengths and weaknesses that you do. You know, it would be weird. And I think he sort of handled it about the best that he could.
Yeah.
But with that said, we get that great fight scene in the first season with Robin, Superboy, and Batman, Superman, and I was just like, well,
not just Robin, Superboy, but Robin and High Superboy. You know, because don't you cannot forget the drug angle on this.
Yeah. See, I thought that you're right, because I thought that drug angle was season 2. You're right, that was season 1.
Yeah, that was Lex being Lex, and going, hey, so I know you're patches. You know, hey, let me hook you up with some of them patches. No, kid, don't start smoking. Just put these on your arm. You know, and
it'll work just fine.
Yeah, and the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm trying to find exactly the right angle. You'll understand when I send you the footage. But yeah, so you get that. Okay, you get that. I like the fact that girl crazy Wally was a little bit girl crazy, but he was majorly into collectibles and what that ended up costing. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Because always had to have a souvenir. And even that coming back in Nightwing's memory in season 3.
Yeah.
When he hacked the ship, when he had that like episode from being in Granny Goodness's, I don't know, antimatter zone, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. In one of Granny's torture chambers.
Yeah.
Now, you know, full disclosure to all your viewers, I am all about Apocalypse and all about Darkseid and his crew. Like they don't get enough play. True. When I'm just like, I'm catching all the hints, like, you know, Tim Curry's amazing performance of Glorious Gottfried as the what's his name? The old Fox News pundit, Mr. Do It Live. We'll just do it live. That guy, you know.
Was it G. Gordon Godfrey, aka was it Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Bill O'Reilly analog. And I'm like, oh, you know what? It's a little bit of a nod to Final Crisis from Grant Morrison, but even more than that, like Glorious Gottfried is the propaganda guy on Apocalypse. So if you're gonna do propaganda, like the writers knew enough to make it be like, yeah, no, we're gonna make this like daytime talk news. Yeah, that's what we gonna do. Yeah, so let's take a look at Bill O'Reilly, let's take a look at Sean Hannity, and let's mush those together and make
into one character,
the evil god of disinformation. I'm like, I see you, Warner. I see you.
I also kind of liked that he was a character where anyone could get it. Like he wasn't, because at first he was hardcore against the heroes, but then he also had that smoke for Lex and for Granny Goodness. So he was. I really don't know whose side he's on.
Oh no, only a little. You have to weigh. You really have to weigh the amount of articles that there are. Like I said, Fox does the same thing. They're like, you know, blah 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 blah. And this is why black people smell different. And by the way, Obama did do a nice thing today. But did you see his suit? Oh my God! You know what I mean? They sprinkle in just a little bit of, so we don't look all bad, so that we're fair and balanced, you know. And that's what Gottfried was doing. And then when I saw that, like Beast Boy was, I tend to talk about this whole thing season by season by season. So, but yeah, I remember in season 1, I think it was, when they met Dr. Fate. And Dr. Fate was he's one of my favorite DC characters that don't get enough play. I'm like, all right, you know, even like back in 99, 2000, when they had the Sentinels of Magic, I'm like, all right, we got the magicians around. That's all cool. Where's Dr. Fate? Like, yo, what's up with Dr. Fate? I'm seeing more Spectre than I'm seeing Dr. Fate, you know?
And even after the Zatanna thing, we haven't really seen him a lot.
Yeah. And I get it. Magic breaks the rules, and it's hard to write well.
And also, it's almost, Dr. Fate is almost too powerful for anything. Yeah, pretty much anything, at least in season 3.
Yeah.
I mean, because Dr. Fate probably could have solved everybody's problems in season 3. And see, that's why you got to do stuff like such and such is off world, or this person is battling some in the other dimension. Because if not, if Dr. Fate was there and
it literally
John Constantine was there, he could just like lift whatever charm off of Granny Goodness, and then or how she was separated, just do something where they close back into one another. It'd be too easy for them.
Yeah, it would come down to the trope of a wizard did it. I mean, that's the whole how'd they win. Dr. Fate came by and Ankh popped up. He waved his hand. Roll credits.
I mean, one of the worst ways, even though this is random off topic, one of the worst ways that I've ever seen that done, and that always bothers me, is Lord of the Rings. Like, it's like, hey, here's this crazy forest. It's crazy, right? We could fly over it, but I'll see y'all later. It's like, whoa, hold up. But can't you just fly us to the mountain? We can make this run real quick. Nah.
No.
I'll be out. I'll be back. It's like, what you mean you'll be back? You can. Yo, this doesn't have to be 3 movies. This could be 1.
And 2 things about that. Thing number 1, Tolkien as a writer hated the Deus Ex Machina trope. I mean, that's why Gandalf was used so sparingly in The Hobbit. It's dwarves. Look at this. Oh, we're in danger. How are we going to get out of this? Oh, I've ridden myself in a corner. Boom. Gandalf shows up. Magic sword kills the goblins. And now we follow Bilbo while he talks to Gollum. And oh my God, we're being attacked by wolves. Yep. Gandalf shows up, turns a bunch of pine cones into grenades, calls the eagles, come out, done. So, you got to have a story. But so Lord of the Rings, there are explanations as to why the Eagles don't fly them all the way there, and the answer is the Nazgul they called them fell beasts. We'll just call them non-fire breathing dragons. I mean, that's what they have.
Because it's like the only issue that, and I mean, I know there's times when people are super powerful. You got to get about the story, but when I was watching that movie, unlike here, like there was like, hey, you perpetrated an intergalactic attack and you are on trial and we are not letting you leave this planet.
Yeah.
And Lord of the Rings, it seemed like, yo man, I'm gonna go make a run of Wendy's real quick. I'll be back. Like, I was like, I need you to have like a real reason to leave us and make us walk through this dark forest right now. Because you got eagles, bruh.
Well, in Lord of the Rings, there is a theory. There is a theory that was his whole plan. After they left Rivendell and they were trying to like get around the mountain, it was, we go over here and we might get picked up by the eagles. You gotta go real deep geek stuff, because if you look at the map and look at the Mines of Moria and stuff, because it was like his last words being "fly, you fools." It's like, was that him throwing a hint? Yo, I got a ride coming, so fly. You know, like, but after Gandalf left, the Fellowship broke up and all that stuff. So he might have been taking them to the pickup point. We don't know.
Word up.
So, cool. But the eagles are powerful things. But we're talking about Young Justice. We ain't talking about Lord.
Back to Young Justice.
I can get on that for a while.
But yeah, that's why you have to get rid of or incapacitate Dr. Fate in some type of way.
Well, see, that was done throughout your generation's real indoctrination to the DC universe a lot. And when I say that, I mean with my favorite cape, the Martian Manhunter. Okay, because remember, he's Superman, Charles Xavier, Mr. Fantastic, and Mystique in one body.
Yeah.
So what problem can they have that he can't do on his own? Nothing. That's why he's on monitor duty all the time, so that we have a show. But they fixed it in Young Justice with what was her name? Hello, Megan. Yeah, with Megan.
Miss Martian.
Yeah, with Miss Martian, my girl Megan. Because
she's dope.
Huh?
I said she's dope.
I especially like her growth in the story arc.
Yeah, definitely.
That 5-year gap in between seasons was a weird thing, because it was like, all right,
yeah,
I could see her getting together with Superboy because neither one of them are human. And then when Superboy saw her natural shape, you know, the big scary white Martian, he's like, it's all right. I like who you are. Yeah. And that was a real important message to show the viewers.
And they had already connected on a mental level.
Yeah.
You know? So they had already connected
as individuals. Yeah. So it wasn't even about how they look or anything. It really was, no, I like who you are, and you seem just about as out of place as I do. I'm a clone. You're an alien. What's up? You know?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I'm a clone. You're an alien, and part of my DNA is alien. So it's kind of like that shared trauma, sort of. Yeah. But I do like how she learned, you know, throughout her journey about the boundary of thoughts. You know, the boundary of thoughts, and, you know, kind of when to and when not to, and things like that. And that, yeah, and I agree. Not only with her, I don't think there's a character in Young Justice that I can think of that did not grow throughout the seasons.
Yeah.
And not superficially. Like, they actually, like you said, there were consequences to their actions. Things happened. You know, they went through changes. And I think that's what helped make it so good.
I mean, the death of Zatara, the pseudo death of Zatara to take on the Dr. Fate helmet, so that Wally didn't have to do it. I was like, bro, that is, and like, how can I put this? Just thinking about it from the standpoint of a father telling his daughter, I'm doing this to save the world, you know, and I'm doing it to save you. Like, one of us has got to go down, and you know, you are as grown up as I can get you, so it's time for me to go. That's always hurtful. That's always a hurtful thing to watch. And that was one of the things that I think makes this show so special, was that it was not afraid to go to the places that brought tears. It really wasn't. Like, death meant something, even when we found out that it was fake.
or even when we had that moment with Artemis going back, well, thinking that she went back, because of course, and you know, that's another issue that's tough. As her friends, we have to lie to her so that we can kind of push her into closure, because we see this killing her. And if she doesn't get this closure, she's not going to be able to move on. So we have to fabricate this situation so that she can kind of go on and move on and be free of this. So
it's, I tell a lot.
Those are those tough kind of decisions where you're like, that's dirty, but I understand why your love for her would logically make you want to do that. It's weird. And once again, dealing with those boundaries and things that we do for our friends and our loved ones, and like, but what is the boundary? Because she was essentially tricked. Yeah. But she also, at the same time, she got what she needed. And it's just tough. But that's what I like about the show, is that you get to think about those type of things.
Yeah. What really stood out to me, and I mean just was one of the things I tell people that come to me for counsel, because it's part of the pointy hat wizard thing. People always come to me about stuff, and one of the things I'm always having to tell people is that the most telling part of adulthood is when you're a kid, everything is simple and everybody lets it be. But as you get older, things become more complex. Not complicated, just more moving parts. When you're a kid, it's easy to say black people listen to hip hop, white people listen to rock, and then it's done. But by the time you get to college and you start learning the background of all these music, and you're listening to like your favorite hip hop artist sampling heavy metal, it's like, whoa, how can you sample it without listening to it? But black people don't listen to that. It's so complex, I don't understand. It's like, you're becoming an adult. And Young Justice as a whole, the interpersonal relationships and the everyday life, not the adventures, but the everyday life situations of these characters got more complex every season. That 5-year gap between season 1 and season 2. Well, it turns out Superboy dumped Miss Martian. Spoilers! Superboy dumps Miss Martian because he found out that she read his mind. Yeah. And don't get me wrong.
After kind of going through an issue where they were like, we wouldn't do this kind of thing.
Well, I mean, there are so many violations of trust on that. One of my favorite book series goes deep into why messing with people's minds is never good. And the main reason that messing with people's minds like that isn't good is because the victim doesn't know that they've been victimized. And then once they find out third party that they've been victimized, it raises the question, has it been done before? How many times? And when a person isn't sure about their own brain, they fall apart.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It's different than a regular person, say, lying to you. Like say if I told you a lie, like, hey, the store is closed, and it's not closed. You know, that's one thing. But to the point where you're not even sure what's real anymore, that's a whole nother situation.
Yeah, I mean, the big violation of trust there, especially with Superboy, was you mess with my mind and this is actually touched on in Umbrella Academy just a little too, where it's like, you mess with my mind to make me forget something. But the big question is, did I actually love you, or did you make me? Until I have an answer to that question, we can't be together. It's like, I literally don't know how I feel about you right now. And that makes me question what I've ever felt, because this is the time I caught you. But were there times that I didn't? And she had to learn that lesson through him being unwaverably pissed.
Yeah. He was extremely broken up about it.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. And she was like, ooh, yeah, see, now I get it. and I messed up. And he's like, okay, I'm glad you get it. I really hope you get it. But are you sorry that you did it? Are you sorry that you got caught? And when you say you get it, are you telling me what I want to hear? See, I can't trust you.
Yeah, because you don't really know what's real anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the tough thing.
Yeah, I mean that's a special level of no. Now, interesting thing. This show with the team being a Black Ops team, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
And they are the writers are really good at the convoluted story. I mean, really good at the convoluted story. I mean, it really comes down to with these guys, like, what's real, what's not. Is Artemis dead? Did Aqualad actually join his father?
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, this was like a 27-point plan to find out about the bad guys.
Good point.
And I'm just like, all right.
That is definitely something that they did well with this show. And Young Justice is good. So we miss it, guys. That's the thing. We miss it. But holla at us, we'll holla at you. Down in them comments, let's talk Young Justice. Let's keep it going on until the next season comes, and then we'll all be happy again. Well, I mean, we're happy now. There's other stuff to watch, but Young Justice is just super good.
No,
so
wait.
To my metaphysical right, I think. Big shout out to Solar Grey. Tell them where they can find you.
Well, if you guys want to get a hold of us and you're part of that wretched hive of scum and villainy known as Facebook, you can join Deckers on the Book. You can also find us at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK @gmail.com. Send us a letter and tune in to our shows Monday through Thursday at 3:00 on twitch.tv/BID_P, where we talk pop culture, we talk Netflix, we talk tabletop role-playing games. And on Thursday, I teach people how to make stuff. And on Friday, I play old video games. Yeah, I play old video games while you guys go, why are you watching? Look, what are the graphics on this? I'm like, it was made in 98. Think Fallout 1. So yeah, so hit us up there.
Cool. Well, guys, of course, NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We will see you next time. And of course, from us to you, we're just saying peace.